Party people, welcome to the Jaylen Brown Show. I mean, are you kidding me? When I watch him play, it almost reminds me of like a great jazz song in a way. I grew up listening to jazz because my dad was into it. I was young. I didn't care about jazz. But as I got older, I appreciated it more because in a great jazz song, it can be slow, quiet, and then build to a crescendo. That's Jaylen Brown's game. We have seen him consistently do this all playoffs long, this playoffs, and we've seen it in past playoffs. We don't have the same issues here of the other guy we talk about a lot, right? Like Jaylen Brown consistently can either go to the cup on you, dunk it in your face, finish strong, right? Like the crescendo of a jazz song, or he can just be smooth and silky. He's a streaky shooter, but when he is in a funky groove, I mean, it is poetry in motion. It's beautiful to watch. And watching game 2, watching him dismantle the Pacers, tying a playoff career high for 40 points, putting a 40-burger on the Pacers, it was so smooth. He was doing anything he wanted to do. He's not demonstrative. He's not in your grill. But he was going to the cup, no problem. He was dancing on you, boogieing on you. He was shooting. This guy is just so smooth. And listen, the thing I would say all of us love the most about him specifically, he's not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid of the big stage. He's not afraid to have the last shot, take the last shot, want the ball in the waning moments of a game. Imagine that. So kudos to him. And listen, the beauty of Jaylen Brown going off, I always notice this. And it's not taking anything away from Jason Tatum. But in Jaylen Brown big games, when I look at the box score, when I watch these games, other guys eat too. I mean, even Tatum, who I brought up, he was efficient tonight or last night, 23 points. But Derek White had 23 points. Peyton Pritchard, big night off the bench. I'm looking at the numbers here. Drew Holiday, double-double. So Jaylen Brown dominates the game, but other guys also get involved and get in the groove. That's why I compare him to Jazz. It's smooth. Everyone can get involved here. It's not heavy metal. It's not a rager. It's not a Travis Scott mosh pit at a concert. This guy is just unbelievable, and it really is a pleasure to watch him cook. And it's consistent. That's the best part about it. Now, look, predictions for Game 3. Can we just be honest? I mean, Ante and I just said this to start the show. Boy, doesn't it just feel like the series is over? I look, maybe wrongly predicted. We'll see, because it ain't over yet. But cue the band, because I thought this would be a 6-game competitive series that the Celtics would win. Not only did I predict going 6, but I thought the Pacers, for the most part, would be in each and every one of these games. And now with Tyrese Halliburton, the uncertainty, with him being banged up, it just feels like that Game 1 loss was so deflating to this young team. Because even though we gave credit to Jason Tatum for the overtime contributions he made, Lord knows, not at the end of regulation, Jaylen Brown made that happen at the end of regulation to force overtime. But in the end, it really was more so a Pacers choke job with the turnovers, just botching a lot of things late in that game, than it was impressive for the Celtics. But I just, after watching Game 2 last night, don't feel as though a young Pacers team can really bounce back from that deflating Game 1 loss. I think it obviously took a lot out of them. And now you add in, I mean, insult to injury, quite frankly, pun intended, with Tyrese Halliburton getting hurt. It just doesn't really feel like this team is going to win a game, let alone go 6. I mean, the prospects of them winning a game in this series are bleak at best. I am a bit surprised with that. Here's Joe Mazzulla after the big Game 2 win. I mean, it just feels like the Pacers are cooked. Take a listen.
Joe, you talked about the chaos that Indiana's style of play presents. How did you feel like tonight your discipline offensively was able to help quell that? And then how was just the defense's ability to kind of read all those little micro decisions smooth out?
Yeah, the first way to defend these guys is to attack them, and you can't defend them if you're not playing disciplined offense because they get you in 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, 4-on-3s, cross-matched, and then, your communication and your individual principles become harder. So the first step to defending them is attacking them, and then when you make it 5-on-5, they just test your communication and discipline. I thought tonight we handled that a lot better. I thought tonight we handled our adjustments and our matchup execution better. And I thought when you play in the chaos, you have to embrace the chaos. And so there's going to be possessions where it is chaotic and you just have to be ready to handle it. And I thought our guys did a good job of handling it with just multiple efforts.
Joe, to take care of home court and go on the road, a place where you've been successful this postseason with a 2-0 lead, what does that do for the confidence of the group?
I don't know. I know only thing we should be thinking about is they were down 2-0 a series ago and they brought the game 7, and they do a great job protecting their home court. They're undefeated at home. So it's going to take a lot more than confidence to get the job done. And we have to focus on the details and the execution and and the mindset, the right things that go into playing against a team like this at home. And I know they're going to respond, and so it's up to us to do the same.
I mean, look, that's coach speak. Him saying, well, they were down 2-0 before and they came back and made it a series against the Knicks. Yeah, because the Knicks were held together by bubble gum and duct tape, like in a paperclip. I mean, this is the opposite here. The Celtics are getting healthier, like Kristaps Porzingis, although now at this point, why do you even play him in this series, quite frankly? But we understand he's getting healthy. He's coming back. So this Celtics team is getting stronger where the Knicks team was falling apart. So, I respect to Joe Mazzulla. Obviously, we understand it's coach speak. You got to say all the right things, not give the other team bulletin board material, but stick a fork in the Pacers. I mean, they're falling apart at the seams now. Halliburton getting banged up. I just think this thing is over. But here's a reality for the Celtics when you really think about it. They kind of are damned if they do, damned if they don't. Think about this. If they lose a close game, I mean, loudmouths like me are the first ones to say, you continue to botch late game situations. You continue to be poor in late games, right? If they beat an inferior team, well, we're like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. If they lose to an inferior team, oh, my God, we call them every name in the book. They're fugazi, they're pretenders, not real contenders. If they blow a team out like we saw in Game 2, I mean, you hear all the chatter. What's everyone saying now? It's about time. This is what they should do all the time. And now it's the age-old debate, right? We've heard this over and over again since these two have been together. Whose team is it? Who's the leader? Who's the man? Who gives a rat's ass? Just go get a title. I mean, all those conversations can be had over time. No problem. Big picture topics. I do this for a living. That's a gift that keeps on giving. Is it Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown? Now's not the time. I mean, at this point, this Celtics team may be on the precipice of winning an NBA title. That's why I say you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You blow out a team. Why don't you do that all the time? Whose team is it anyway? You barely beat a team. Oh, look at this. They're not even winning right. You lose to a team. They're fakes. You can't win. So just win. Go get the banner, and we can have the big topic conversation later. Screw all that other stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm looking at these numbers for Jason Tatum coming into Game 2. This is a reality for this team. I mean, look, you have two All-Stars. Jason Tatum is a first-team All-NBAer. Coming into that Game 2 last night, he averaged 32 points, 12 boards, 6 assists, and 3 steals per game. I mean, meanwhile, in Game 2, he was just efficient with 23, and Jaylen Brown went off. It's the reality of this team. They are so loaded. And look, we can say, and I've said it, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday has carried Jason Tatum up to this point. It doesn't even really matter with this team. They are so loaded, so talented. They love each other so much. It's so cliche to say, right? Like, They're actually a team. And we're just not used to seeing that. We're used to our stars being dominating and domineering and get on my back and Mamba mentality. And I took that personally. Michael Jordan, Last Dance stuff. Not all teams are the same. We've just seen that. We've grown accustomed to seeing that. Maybe it can work for the Celtics team. Lord knows. I'm looking in the mirror here. It's driving me nuts because I want what we're all used to. But that's not how this team does things. It's not how they roll.